Hi, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. If you're on the live stream today, let me know if you can hear me all right. And if you are here for the replay, then just say hi in the comments. It'd be wonderful to see everybody who is here. I am going to be planning out the week of Monday, oh, hell no, where is my calendar? Monday, the, 19th? Yeah, Monday the 19th. Through, the 25th of September in my Moxie Life Undated Vertical Weekly. Good. I'm glad you guys can hear me. It's wonderful to see everybody in the comments. I'm going to be using this Krissyanne Designs kit. I got it hella days ago. And I'm looking for something pretty easy because I'm exhausted. It's been a really rough, 6 months, but this last week has been pretty rough too, physically on me. I have a handful of washi tapes. I'm pretty sure all three of these are from the Amanda Rach Lee shop. And then I think these are both Amy Tangerine, question mark? I don't know. They're black and white washi tapes. So we're going to go with those for now. Plus I've got my procrastinator stickers. So let's just get started. This last week I wound up not really using my to-do list very much, but I had some sick time. I also did not finish all the work I needed to, but I am getting closer. So that's good to know. Oh, fancy-ish Rice Krispies treats, Katie? Tell me about fancy-ish Rice Krispies treats, because that sounds rad. It is wonderful to see everybody. Ooh, lettering thanks to my book. I am so glad you got it too. I saw Karen in here, Ashley, Alda, Donna, Jamie. Who else is in here? Steph. Yeah, a bunch of you guys are all here. Aaliyah's here, Dawn's here, Felicia's here. Hi, so it's wonderful to see you all. So I put in my thumbnail and in my title that I'm going to be kind of reminiscing about my dad, which I do plan to do. This week is the 21st anniversary of him passing away. And it's basically, after this year, will have lived as many years of my life without him as I have with him, because I was 21, almost 22 when he died. And that is hitting me pretty hard this year. It's hitting me harder than it did last year. And last year was the 20th anniversary. But, sometimes grief does not respect milestones. And it's just, it's funny. Like, my mother, losing my mom, I had really started to build an adult relationship with my mom, and I'd had both of my kids by the time she died. But with my dad, I had not even begun to really understand what it was like to be an adult yet. And so there's a level of just complete helplessness that I feel when I think about losing my dad, that I didn't feel quite as much. Maybe part of it was that when I lost my mom, I'd already lost my dad. I don't know. But it's a thing, man. Losing a parent, losing anyone that you love can be really, really fucking difficult. And for those of you who have had to deal with that in recent years, or if you've had to deal with that at all in your life, then just know that I am right there with you. Yeah, Dawn. Yeah. I remember things once in a while. White chocolate, sea salt, and vanilla extract in Rice Krispies treats. I'm assuming along with the butter and the Rice Krispies treats. I mean, the Rice Krispies. That sounds fucking good. Holy shit. Aw, Christina. Big hugs to you. I can hear Odin screaming at the door, but he's not allowed in here right now because I pulled out the stuff to decorate our porch for the fall. Jesse and RJ got the mulching finished yesterday, and so I wanted to get the porch done for fall while we were at it. And because I have to kind of get some stuff put back away in there, sometimes you go digging things out of somewhere, and the last thing you want then is to go back and have to put everything, reassemble whatever you pulled it out from. That's where I'm at right now. And the problem is that our big storage closet in the basement is big and deep and dark and full of terrors. Maybe not full of terrors. It's mostly full of decorations, but whatever. it's easy for the cats to get lost in there and to not be able to get them back out again. And so until I get everything situated and the door shut, I am not letting him into the office, because that would just be asking for trouble. So we're not going to do that. Your mom will be gone 7 years yeah, grief is a strange thing. It hits you when you least expect it. You hit the 6-month mark. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Andrea. I do wish it had an end date. Big hugs to you too, Christine. Right, Pam? Even when you have complicated relationships, it's hard. Yeah. Yeah, Christy. Oh, Teresa, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks to lose somebody that you love. It sucks to lose somebody that's close to you. And the first time you lose someone that like the first big loss of your life, whoever that might be, the first big loss that you feel. Because like when my dad died, I had already lost, some great grandparents and stuff. But you expect that, right? Like that didn't feel as much as a great loss. And I didn't lose, like my grandma passed away this year and she was my last one. All 4 of my grandparents outlived my parents, which means they outlived their kids, because that's the case. And in this case of my dad's parents, my grandmother and my grandfather on my dad's side, they outlived all of their kids, all 4 of them. And that's just something I can't even begin to imagine. There's something about that first loss, like losing either parent for me was hard. Losing anyone you love is hard. But the first time, it sucks so very badly. And especially, not especially, like it's hard for everybody. But for me, I think one of the hardest things when my grandma died it was very different for me, because like both my parents died suddenly. And so it was really difficult sometimes for me to really begin to understand how it worked. I wish I could give you all big hugs right now. So one of the things that I find very interesting about losing my dad, I didn't know this at the time, and it's taken me a long time to really understand sort of how my brain works. I'm still working on that. I'm pretty sure I have aphantasia. If you don't know what aphantasia is, it's the thing where people cannot picture things inside their head. And that is me. I thought that when people talked about being able to see things inside their head, that they were using a metaphor. Is it Ileana? You felt orphaned for a long time when you lost your parents? Same, dude. Same. And so I discovered this aphantasia thing from watching a video of someone. They were talking about it. And I was mind blown because I had never heard of it before. But I was like, wait, this sounds fucking familiar to me, right? And one of the things that kind of came along with it, that came not with realization, but it might be part of the reason that I react so strongly to Elton John's music. I have a point. I swear I have a point. So we are, for the most part, do I talk to myself in my head? Jamie, no. I mean, I talk to myself, but when I do, I talk out loud. I don't have an inner monologue. I can't hear, I've never heard voices either. Like actual voices. I can think things and like so on and so forth, but I can't hear in my head my own voice or anybody else's voice. Yeah, Yvonne, when people said that, I thought that they were just being metaphorical. Maybe that's why I can't handle meditation when they're like, visualize blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So, yeah, I don't talk to myself internally either. And that I talk to myself externally. This is not black and white. Maybe that's why this is bothering me. Okay, I'm going to take this one off. This is not the color I want. These are not the washi tapes you're looking for. So, anyway, I have a point. In my house, we have basically been an Elton John free household for the entire time Jess and I have been together. Beautiful Enigma. I have heard with aphantasia that there are actually different kind of levels of it. Like, I can't picture anything in my head. I can't see things in my head at all. But I've heard other people have described what you have, and I've heard that with aphantasia, there might be like different degrees to it. But I'm not a doctor or any sort of anybody, so don't take my my word as gospel here. Anyway, so we have been an Elton John free household for almost the entirety of our time together. And the reason being is not that I don't like Elton John. I actually fucking love Elton John music. The problem is that the reason I love Elton John and the reason I have always loved Elton John is I got it from my dad. My dad was a huge Elton John fan. Elton John and Billy Joel were his two like favorite. My dad loved to play the piano and he loved to sing, and Elton John and Billy Joel were his two of his favorites, right? Along with like Chicago and Boston, a bunch of others. I got most of the music I love from my dad, or a lot of the music I love from my dad. My mom's music tastes tend to run to like the 70s fog machine power ballads by like Debbie Boone and Helen Reddy. Not quite as much on my wavelength. But so my dad loved Elton John and he would sing it. And what I discovered after he died was that I discovered that it was very difficult for me to listen to Elton John without completely having a meltdown, because when I would listen to Elton John, I could smell my dad. Like, the memories were so visceral of my dad. I couldn't picture his face. And I didn't realize the reason I couldn't picture his face. I can't picture anything. People will be like, I can remember my parents' face. I can picture their face. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I can't do that. And I think, so the music of Elton John would like viscerally, like my biggest memories are not visual. They're how they make me feel. And they're how they smell. You know, very interesting combination there, but whatevs. How they make me feel and how they smell. And so when I would listen to Elton John, I could smell my dad again. And that sounds kind of gross, but my dad had a distinctive smell to me, right? Like, my dad had a distinctive smell to me. He smelled like, it's very distinctive. He smelled like motor oil, because he did most of the work he did and all of his hobby stuff were like mechanic type things. He smelled like motor oil and cigarettes and pot and like man sweat. Do you know what I'm talking about? That like manly, I know it's very gendered, but like it's that specific, like I've never smelt it on Sunny, but I've smelt it on RJ after like, and I've smelled it on Jesse after like a hard day of doing like yard work. It's a specific kind of sweat. Well, my dad was always working outside. And so when he was a windsmith or when he would just work on the car. So it was a specific smell of like sweat and motor oil and pot and cigarettes. And that was my dad's smell. And when I hear certain Elton John songs, it's like that smell comes flooding back to me, which just, it wrecks me. It's funny. When my dad died, I had one of his work shirts that smelled like him. And I kept it in a Ziploc bag in the freezer for years because the freezer preserved some of the smell. So that's a tip for you. If you lose somebody that you love and smell is important to you, if you hang on to something of theirs and you put it in, it won't last forever, but it will last a lot longer if you put it in a Ziploc bag in the freezer. All right, I'm going to scroll back because I saw a comment that I really want to answer. Annie asked, how are you able to do your drawings with it? Don't you have a picture in mind from what you want to draw? So this is actually very interesting to me because I also was curious about that because I always felt so frustrated as an artist when I would know other people who would have these concepts and come up with these ideas in their head and then draw them and depending on what like their skill level or their proficiency was, it would come out a certain way. But I could never do that. And I had so much trouble with that. Like, I always thought for the longest time it was because I couldn't figure out how to draw. But it wasn't that I couldn't figure out how to draw. It's I couldn't picture something and then draw it. I can draw extremely well. I'm very proficient at drawing and painting. But I can't do it from just pull something out of my ass and draw it because I can't visualize it. So I think that's why I gravitated towards both doodling and realistic drawing. Doodling, both in terms of drawing doodles and painting like loose florals, you don't need to know exactly what something looks like. You just need to have the idea of how to draw certain things, like certain concepts. Like, can you draw a handful of different leaves? Yes. Okay. Then you can create something from leaves. Do you know how to draw a handful of these other things? Yes. Then you can construct from those. And that's kind of how I did it. And in realistic, I put together different reference images, or I go take my own reference images and I use those as a springboard. Not because I can't draw, like if I've drawn something enough times, I can just do it from muscle memory. But if I have not drawn something enough, then I need to use references of some sort to help me kind of along the way. And that always made me feel like a failure. The reason I even found out about aphantasia was I was watching a video from Temi Danso Art. She also does like bullet journal videos and stuff. And she's fucking funny. And she loves to draw realistically as well. She does mostly portraiture. She also has aphantasia, and she talked about how that's why she thinks she gravitates towards realistic drawing, because it is easier for her as somebody who can't picture abstract concepts in her head, but she can draw realistically because you learn how from muscle memory. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Hi, Emma. Welcome back. Dude, Christine, I don't know why they don't label them. They need to. They probably will label them and then charge you like $25 more. Yeah, no, using references is not cheating. The key is that you know how to make them your own, for one. And you can use them for practice. The best way I found to use references to really create something original is to have multiple, and this is a tip I learned, if you're going to draw something, you want to have references of a subject from different angles and things like that so you can get more information as to what it looks like. Hello, Alice has it too. Good to know. Jamie asked, do you have a picture of your head when you remember something? Like, do you think of a flower? Do you see it? No, I don't. This is actually, Jesse has been asking me questions for fucking, it feels like ever since he discovered this whole aphantasia thing. He learned about it when I told him about it when we were at IKEA in California. So whenever that was last time. to this day, he'll randomly remember that I have aphantasia, and he'll ask me questions about it because it completely blows his mind. Because the way, like, if you imagine it, like, okay, so for those of you who are still having trouble kind of wrapping your minds around this, I have an exercise for you, okay? This is how I got Jesse to really understand it. Okay, picture in your head a fruit bowl. Like visualize a fruit bowl, okay? And visualize a fruit bowl. Now tell me in the comments, what color is the fruit bowl? Oh, thank you, Rachel. Yvonne. Yeah, see, I also can't, I love to read. I can't visualize what I'm reading. So I think maybe that's why I've never been somebody who gets like bent out of shape with casting of somebody for like book adaptations. Like the way people were all bent out of shape when Matt Smith was cast as Daemon Targaryen in House of the Dragon. Like, I mean, at this point, like, you better be eating your fucking words because he's like this roll up like a fucking hound dog. But the point is I can picture Daemon Targaryen. So how the fuck was I supposed to know what he looked like? What I wanted was someone who felt like Daemon Targaryen. Brown. Wooden bowl like a teak bowl, red, white, blue with oranges, clear because his glass is what Jesse pictured as well. Now, see, you all are telling me what all your fruit bowls look like, right? And then we have, like me, I can't picture a fucking fruit bowl in my mind. Like, I could tell you I have a white fruit bowl because I have a white fruit bowl, and I have like a wood fruit bowl. But I'm not picturing it. I just know I have it. Like, I'm remembering that I have it. You find men with pale blonde hair super creepy, Pam. I'm just scrolling throughout the fruit bowl situations. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see books as movies. So my problem with casting or with whatever is that if somebody doesn't evoke the feeling I felt when I read it, that's kind of my gauge, which is why as a Stephen King fan, my issue with Jack Nicholson in The Shining is that he didn't feel like Jack Torrance. He felt crazy from the start. And Jack Torrance in the book, the story is about a family, alcoholism tears them apart. And you get the feeling that Jack really loves his family and is kind of horrified by what's happening to himself. Whereas with Jack Nicholson, he's just like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? Which is a great horror movie, but as an adaptation, it sucks ass. Do I dream? So my dreams, Aaron, I either don't remember them or they are completely lucid. Like my dreams are either I don't remember them at all or it's like I'm awake, which is really unsettling because I watch way too many horror movies, so I dream about some scary shit. But yeah, those are my dreams. When I do dream about something, it is very, very realistic and it does not feel like a dream. It feels absolutely real to me. I'm grabbing my weather really quick. Oh, we're having another massive fucking temperature drop this week from 88 degrees down to 67 degrees. There's a naughty meme going around, 12 dragons in House of the Dragon. All I want to write is Matt Smith. Yeah, he's not. Although, to be fair, like fucking Kristen Cole, I don't care for him in the book, but god damn it if the guy they cast to play him is a fucking stud muffin. And Harwin Strong is also a fucking hottie McHotter. This is like House of the Thirsty is what it feels like to me. You started his book, New Fairy Tale. Oh, I haven't read his new book. Jamie, I would suggest that there are a handful of Stephen King adaptations that I think came out well. My personal favorite of all of his adaptations is Misery. I feel like even though they changed things, and I like the book too, I feel like they really captured the vibe of the book. Misery, and the other one that's really high on my list in terms of adaptations is Christine. I actually kind of like the movie of Christine better than the book. That's one of the few. All right. Dreaming British mystery style dreams. Speaking of mystery style, I am very excited about the new Knives Out movie coming out. Is it called Glass Onion? I am super excited about that because that movie, Knives Out, is one of those. There's a handful of movies that came out in the last handful of years that utterly surprised me. Not that I didn't think they were going to be that good. I was kind of blindsided by the fact that there was this movie that I wasn't even hardly on my radar. And then when I saw it, I was like, are you fucking joking me? This is so good. And Knives Out was one of those. The other one of those movies was Ready or Not with Samara Weaving in it. The horror movie with like the hide and seek game. Oh my God, that movie's fucking good. Yeah, Katie, if you named one of your mom's cars after Christine, I'm imagining you didn't see the movie because that seems like some bad juju to bring down on yourself. The 90s version of The Stand, I actually really liked that. I think my only real issue with it, like I thought it was well done for a TV movie. I think my only real issue with it was I didn't care for Molly Ringwald. But then I also don't like the character of Fran, so that makes sense. But like I didn't care for Molly Ringwald in it. I'm just glad we got the mulch done because it looks like we're going to be in a place where like the weather is not going to be as predictable. We had originally had it scheduled to get delivered a week from yesterday, like a week ago yesterday, but it was going to be raining that day and we didn't want to, because it was going to be blocking our driveway until it was taken care of. We didn't want them to come drop off mulch and then have it sit there. So we had it delivered on Saturday morning and Jess and RJ were able to get it all mulched out within the morning. It was all done by noon. You always get Knives Out and Ready or Not confused as to which one is named which. That makes sense. They have like similar flavors to them. All right. I'm using a Statler pigment liner this week because I ran out of my extra fine Pitt Artist pen and I don't have another one of that tip size. And so I went to the store to grab another one and they didn't have it, but they had this one. So, yeah. All right. Let me write my habits in really quick. So I'm pretty sure the no soda thing was a mistake for this month. I'm just really struggling with it. Because I think some of my patrons hit the nail on the head on our stream this week. I think that because it is something that it's very comforting to me, and I've had such a hard time this month, physically and mentally, that it just feels kind of like shitty to deprive myself of that. Especially since my blood work right now, the things that I would need to avoid because of soda are actually, the phosphorus levels are actually really like low normal. Also, I will add that I will add that sometimes when I'm feeling nauseated, like a ginger ale is the only calories I can even get into my body because I'm so nauseated. So I don't know. I'm putting it on here though. I'm gonna still see what I can do in terms of maybe reducing it, but it's been rough for me, y'all. It has been a rough fucking moment. Yeah, that's what I might do, Ashley, is change it to like no dark sodas, which was actually what I had done before. Yeah, Andrea, it feels like a double punishment. You feel crappy and then can't comfort yourself, so you're punished again. That is exactly it. By the way, last night for dinner, I made chicken burrito bowls, like kind of Chipotle style, and it was goddamn glorious. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about my goddamn glorious dinner. So what I made was I did chicken in the crock pot. Have I tried Reed? I don't know what Reed is. In the first couple months of lockdown, Dr. Pepper was the only... Yeah, the doctor and I have a ongoing relationship. Oh, Reed's Ginger Brew. No, I have not had that. But I have found the only ginger ale that I even can slightly stomach is Canada Dry. Like, no other ginger ale has seemed to work for me in terms of helping both with my nausea and also not completely grossing me out. So... Hi, Laura. Okay, so got all this in. Let's get going with the week. I think it's the carbonation. The combination of the carbonation and the sugar is more important, I think, than the caffeine, because I can get caffeine from coffee. That's kind of what I was thinking, Abby. I'm thinking of asking for a soda stream for Christmas. All right, so Monday. We'll start with Monday. And Monday, Layla, I have a patron post that needs to go up. I am taking Sunny to the doctor. I have doing Layla's afternoon walk that day. And I want to vlog tomorrow and have it go up this week, because I was going to vlog this past week and have it go up last week, but because I didn't get my video edited in time because I wasn't feeling good, etc., etc. So maybe what we'll do is we'll put down the Good Morning Sunshine sticker. Good morning, starshine. I need a long Canada Dry cranberry ginger. That sounds so good. My early morning singing song. Maybe what I'll do is I'll use this one to put down for vlogging. Dude, I'm fully aware of Fresca. I actually don't care for it that much, but and I can't... Squirt was another one of my non-dark sodas that I've been really into. However, with the statins that I'm on, my doctor advised me to lay off of the grapefruit soda. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll put down this little guy and just put on here vlog. The other big thing I have to do tomorrow is work, but I'm going to be busy all week with wrapping up the big project I'm on. I had hoped to get it wrapped up last week, but feeling sick, I did not quite get there, but I'm on track to finish this week. Oh, your kitty Loki. Dude, Clearly Canadian. I am so glad that it's back. Clearly Canadian was my fucking jam when I was a kid. I swear to God, this is going to make you guys so horrified, but my favorite thing to do on allowance day, if we didn't have, so my parents, the way that they did our allowance was that we got our allowance on Saturdays based on whether or not our bedrooms were clean on Saturday morning by the time they woke up. If they were off on Saturdays, we had to have our bedroom clean on Saturday mornings. And, which is funny because the rest of the house was a fucking mess because it was a hoarder house. My room was almost like, my sisters will probably like object to this, but my room was often fairly clean because I was really neurotic and kind of horrified by our hoarder house. And so keeping my room clean was like an oasis in the middle of my hoardery house. But anyway, so my sisters and I, sometimes we would have plans for our allowances, right? Like sometimes my sister Amy and I would convince our baby sister that we were trying to buy all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies that were out at the time. And we would buy them on VHS, but the movies were $15 and we each got $5 allowance. And so we would convince our baby sister we needed to buy another movie. Becca didn't actually like those movies all that much, but she was our baby sister and she was very easily persuaded. So she would give us her money and we would buy it, even though she didn't give two shits about going to see, getting like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So we were awesome sisters. But if we didn't have a plan like that, then often what we would do instead was use our allowances to purchase snacks because my parents didn't have any money. And so they would just buy the bare minimum of what we could get with like our food stamps and from government donated goods and whatever my mom could like eke out of her like money. And so we would use our allowance to go to 7-Eleven or to the Quick Mart and buy snacks because that was not something we got to have at home. Yes, I do have to clean my sheets on Saturday. World Market does carry Cleary Canadian. My favorite was always the wild cherry. So one of my favorite things to do with my allowance was to go to 7-Eleven and get my ass a Clearly Canadian wild cherry and a 7-Eleven nachos with cheese. Not the chili, just the cheese. And before you get all grossed out, just know that it was delightful. All right, Sunny has an appointment. They actually had the same appointment this last week, but they had some kind of like cold symptoms as a result of their flight home. And so we went in, but when they answered their survey questions were like, what symptoms, if any, do you have? And Sunny had enough symptoms to make it so that they sent Sunny out to the car and then gave us a call, and we rescheduled to this week because of, the COVID protocols. So that's why. 7-Eleven nachos are fucking bomb. They are another one of my comfort foods. Not all the time, but again, every once in a while. All right, so there's what I've got for Monday, and then I want to put on my to-do list for tomorrow a patron post I want to get up. And I need to go to CVS to pick up my one little word pictures. So exciting. What color do I want to use for my dot? Maybe gray. I feel like there might have been one of those new neutral ones that would look really good. This one, the light platinum. Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one we're going to go with. Light platinum. All right, let's get back to comments really quick, and then we'll get to Tuesday. When you were a kid in California, you go to the mini marts, get the nachos, but instead of chips, you get... Oh my God, Steph, that sounds intense. Katie, yes, Sunny is feeling better. Have I talked about if I think of coming to DC for Go Wild? I was just talking about this. I am not sure because I'm feeling so awful lately. Traveling is really hard on me. So I don't know. Is there any point to Go Wild for a digital play? Yeah. It's a lot of fun if you're into the community. What planner am I using today? This is the Moxie Life Undated. This is the Moxie Life Undated Vertical. It's the 6 months. Yeah, that's what it is. I really like it. So most likely going to be going like 99.9% going to be going with Moxie Life for next year too. You live pretty rurally. You don't think you've ever seen a 7-Eleven? Wow. For around here, 7-Elevens are just as ubiquitous as Starbucks. What do I think of how much the price of one ticket costs? Honestly, I'm not surprised it's that much. With they knowing how much goes into the conference and how much they have to spend on just the bare basics of everything. And then on top of that, with the costs of everything going up right now, like it sucks. It sucks that everything costs so much right now, but it's not surprising to me. I don't love it, but it's not surprising to me. Oh, nice. Well, I'm excited for you to come to the U.S. And if I don't go, I'm bummed to miss you, but... You're seriously thinking about using a Weeks Mega? What's the difference between a Weeks Mega and like a regular Weeks? I am not familiar with the various Hobonichi, lingo. Okay, I'm going to put down for a video on Tuesday, which is already filmed. The vlog will hopefully go up on Thursday. I will say, the video going up tomorrow on Tuesday is going to be a little bit consumerism related, so that's exciting. If you haven't watched yet, P.S., my update on my no spend is up for my holiday no spend and everything like that. I am strongly considering doing a no buy for the whole of 2023. Strongly considering. And I know some of you recommended Hannah Louise Poston in the comments. I've watched her videos before. As a matter of fact, her year-long no-buy was fairly inspiring to me, even though sometimes her method of talking is a little grating on me. Okay, so Tuesday, Jess is planning to go to the office with Layla, which means I'll need to walk her. On his office days, our current... It's not exactly an expectation because, sometimes shit just doesn't work out. But it's the most helpful thing for me to do for Jesse if I take Layla on her walk on his office days first thing in the morning, because she doesn't get as much exercise on office days because he doesn't always have the time to go out, take her out for walks. but taking her in the morning can make the whole day easier on her. And then he'll take RJ to school when he leaves for work. The Mega has 219 pages. But what's the difference, though? Lots of extra pages in the back. Yeah, I am. This year's planner launch season has been very overwhelming to me, and it hasn't even fully gotten into gear yet. It feels like, to me at least, that, and this could be wrong, and this could just be the corners of planner internet that I tend to frequent. It feels to me like we are back. Okay. It felt like for a little while there, especially during COVID, like during the worst of COVID, because I'm aware that COVID is not over. During the worst of COVID, that there was a point where a lot of people, at least a lot of people that I follow or hear from on the internet, were really kind of going in, like leaning into the whole use what you have kind of mentality, right? It felt like that was, maybe people were afraid that they were going to lose their job, or they lost their job, or whatever the case may be. It felt like for a little while there was a brief shiny moment that was Camelot, where the planner community was not quite as consumerism focused, right? I could be wrong about this. Maybe I was just, during COVID, I was too busy playing Animal Crossing to give a fuck. I don't know. So, but the point I'm making is there was a little while there where it was less of a cacophony of, I'm pulling out all my big words today, less of a cacophony of marketing at me during COVID. That's kind of what it felt like especially during 2020. And then it felt like this year it's just like ramped right back up again. Even like it went from like it didn't go 0 to 100. It went from like 60 to 150. Does that make sense? Yeah. Happy Planner is one of them. Happy Planner is not the only one, but Happy Planner was definitely one of them. I swear to God, it's like Happy Planner is the harbinger of planner launches. They drop 8,000 things and then everybody else follows suit. It's okay, Christine. It's okay. Oh, hey, Katie. Are there any special planner-related time of sales where you buy things at a discount other than holidays and whatnot? For me, the biggest times to really stock up if I'm trying to avoid buying would be Black Friday and the Wild for Planners sale tend to be the two bigger ones. There used to be all of those collective sales, but I kind of tuned out of those. But even the Wild for Planners one, I didn't even approach that because I was in the middle of my no-buy. This year, I am going to set a budget and buy things during Black Friday weekend, specifically because if I do a no-spend in 2023, then I want to make sure that I have like monthly kits and things like that I know I'm going to want. I'm not sure yet. All right. Okay, so Jesse and Layla's at the office, and then I have a phone call at 10, and a phone call and my Patreon live is at 2. And that's all I've got on Tuesday so far. Again, aside from getting hella work done. Everything is going on so fucking crooked. And I've got the burps. Hi. Macian? Did I pronounce that's probably not right. I feel like that's a better way to pronounce that. And I know it, but I don't know it. Steph, I also grew up poor and I also feel guilty spending on frivolous things. The problem I have run into is that sometimes when I've convinced myself it's okay, like to spend money on myself, I run hard in the other direction. I'm apparently not somebody who can do things in half measures. I do things extreme. Oh, nice. Good. I'm glad I did a good job. Cool. Okay, Patreon live stream. Maybe I'll use a half box for that. Why not? I haven't half boxed it up yet. Why not? My patrons are worth a half box. All right, Wednesday. Wednesday's a fairly low key day, which will probably be a work heavy day. The cleaners are coming in the morning. P.S. So Jess and I are sitting down. One of the things we're gonna do when we need to do is do some budget updating. We haven't really updated our household budget since some financial aspects of our life have changed, and we need to do that. And one of the things that I always kind of have been sort of putting at the top of my list for removing from the budget is the cleaning service. And Jesse pointed out to me that he would rather we cut back on something else than cut back on the cleaning service, because not only has it been immensely helpful for my mental health in terms of, I have a lot of, I should put that on here too, so I get cash for my lovely cleaning ladies for their tip. Not only is it good for my mental health in terms of the house staying clean and not activating all of my neuroses about growing up in a hoarder house, but also the level of physical work it saves me from in terms of keeping the house clean is worth the cost of it. So I just have to keep reminding myself of that because I feel so guilty about it. Not really guilty about having the cleaners themselves. Like, I recognize that, especially right now with the economy the way that it is, I can imagine that having regular jobs is good for the cleaning ladies, because that way they have consistent income or whatever, and we tip them really well. But feel bad as in I'm failing as a human because I have to pay someone to clean my house. Not because I'm so fancy that I deserve to have someone clean my house, but because I'm sick and I physically can't and there's something wrong with me. Okay, I'm scrolling back up. What's my favorite marker? What kind of marker do you mean? Because I got all sorts of favorite markers. Do you have a specific category of marker that you're referring to? Layla afternoon walk on Wednesday. Yeah, I'm getting my COVID booster this week, Katie, so I'll be right there with you. Just looking at the comments. You guys are all awesome. So there's a level of, I have so many, I'll be real with you. I have so many different neuroses, I guess you could say. Hang-ups, maybe, is a good word for it, around cleaning. And I've talked about it a lot on my channel before, but I think it really stems from growing up in a hoarder house and feeling like somehow I don't understand how to clean. I don't understand like what I'm doing wrong, how to be a grown-up. And it got worse once I got divorced because my kid's stepmom is a bit of a neat freak. And so their house is usually really, really fucking clean, which both made me feel like a level of insecurity because like they were better than me because their house was cleaner. And then on top of that, there would be times when my ex would tell me that, you know, he would make comments, like offhanded comments that would maybe, if I wasn't quite so neurotic about it, maybe I would be a little less, it would stress me out less. Maybe not. Maybe it's just like they were shitty comments that made me feel shitty about myself. Regardless, that was one way that I just felt awful, was that somehow I was the inferior parent because I couldn't manage to keep the house clean enough. And because I not only could I not keep it clean enough because I was exhausted, and also because I wasn't always exhausted, but I just didn't know what I was doing wrong. Like I didn't understand how to keep a house clean. I'm getting my flu shot with my COVID booster. I don't know if that's going to be that might be a bit of a wild ride on Friday for me. Trash day. Oh, that's an I need to put on my list. We need to do the side yard trash, which means we need to we have one of those bagsters, like the big, like dumpster bags. Ours is all yard waste. And so we just need to get that scheduled and then get it picked up. You guys are awesome, by the way. Yeah, our generation wasn't always taught how to be grown-ups, cleaning, budgeting, money management, etc. Yeah. And so I just, my inferiority complex would kick in, which is, I have a very intense inferiority complex. I don't know if you could notice that or not, but I have a fairly intense inferiority complex. And then on top of that, this just level of stress in terms of not really understanding how to keep my house, like how to keep my house clean, but still lived in. And then on top of that, aside from like the general kind of malaise about cleaning, the other issue I would run into is that I, sometimes there are certain minor aspects of life that tend to really stress me out. They tend to really like get to me in a way, like it's a little bit more, a little bit over the top how this weekend sticker is too far over. Like there are my sisters and I were talking about this. We all have different kind of weirdnesses when it comes to cleaning. Like we each have Jesse's going to the office with Layla on Friday, I believe. So I'm doing my morning walk with her, and then I'll put him in the office, and then I'm going to get my COVID shot. Sometimes the problem for me can be that my sisters and I each have our own like special moments of absolute and total over the top stress over certain aspects of cleaning that we kind of have tied to our experience growing up in a hoarder house, like little things about cleaning that we're just very, 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 very obsessed with or over the top with. So for me, it is pillows, especially couch cushions, being out of place. When we were living in our house, the rental house we lived in on the same street as the house we bought in Napa, we, for a while, had a futon. And it was an IKEA futon. And it was one of those futons where it was like the futon as a couch. But then we bought these 2 rectangle pillows to be like the armrests on the sides of the couch. If I came home, and I would come home, and they would be on the floor because Jess and the kids were like lounging about, I would fucking lose my shit. I would pick up the pillows, I'd put them back, and I would just go off on them over these goddamn pillows. I am the same way if somebody dares mess my bed up on a Saturday when I've washed my sheets and I haven't had the chance to get into my clean bed. If somebody moves my pillows around, I get irate. If RJ or Sunny goes and like lays on my bed during the day and I come back there and everything looks all messed up, again, I get fucking irate. And I can look independently at it and be like, okay, dude, you are fucking like, this is a little extra. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can look intellectually at myself and recognize that this is not necessarily the most healthy of ways to deal with couch cushions on the floor, but that's just my natural reaction to it. Does that make sense? For one of my sisters, it's washing her walls. She washes the shit out of her walls. Okay, I'm going to use this kind of question mark looking Steve and this little doctor stethoscope for my COVID booster. And the question mark is not because I'm ambivalent about getting my booster. I'm more ambivalent about what it's going to be like after the fact. So I'm just going to put COVID plus flu. I have to get everyone else in my house's shots done as well, but I need to go. They each have their vaccine cards, and to schedule it through Walgreens, you need to be able to have the date of your last COVID vaccine. Yeah. Andrea, I'm pretty sure I have some low-level hoarding tendencies. Now, if you read into hoarding, the way they kind of classify it is that there's like different levels of hoarding, like on a 1 to 5 scale. I think I'm in like the 1, maybe 2 area of it. I'm pretty sure my parents were in like the 4, almost 5, but not quite. We could still function in our house. It was just extremely gross and very hard to function in, but it was possible. Some of the hoarding situations I've seen like on the show is beyond what I experienced as a kid, but not by much. So I'm going to put this like one here for family time, because one of the things we talked about, we're starting sometime this week, Jess and I are going to have a good sit down, both with just the 2 of us and then with the kids, to figure out ways to make life a little simpler for me because I'm having such a hard time right now. And one of the things we came up with was 2 ordering out or going out dinners a week. And Sunny's going to cook at least once a week. So I'm really only trying, and then he can help as well. But like 4 meals is really what I'm trying to figure out per week. So Friday nights we had talked about being just our standing like pizza night. Prep for a lazy recovery Sunday. That's my hope. I don't think I'm going to go. Grocery shopping might just be ordering groceries this week. Oh, thanks for the advice, Deborah. Okay, so Saturday, the only thing I have on my list is washing my sheets, and we still have to wrap up our fucking taxes. I swear to God, it's not that we have to, like, the only reason we got an extension was because there was one thing that we need help with, and it's not, yeah, it's just, I don't even know. So let's just put that at the top of the page. Taxes. Like, as far as everything is concerned, I am pretty sure we're getting money back. So it's not like we had to file an extension because there was something having to do with the house sale that we had to clarify. And we just haven't had the time to sit down together and take care of that. Everything else, other shit just keeps coming up. Taxes. And then washing the sheets. That's the other bit that's going to happen. And then I'm just going to leave Saturday blank otherwise, because that way I'm not over committing myself to anything this week. And then Sunday, we've got live streams, same bat time. So next week should be another live show. If I get through the book, we're going to talk about the cult of confidence and how that's marketed to people. And if I don't get through the book, or maybe if I just feel more up to it, we're going to perhaps go down into it might be the time for me to finally open up and give you guys my experience in multi-level marketing and why it is that I have such a hate on for it. So leave your preferences in the comments. Would you prefer that I do the multi-level marketing, or would you prefer we talk about the cult of confidence? And then the only other thing I'm going to put on Sunday, MLMs, is Hot D. Hot D! Just to let you know, for those of you who are watching Hot D, I don't know what the time jump is for tonight. I don't imagine it's a very big time jump. But I will let you know that tonight's episode will be our last episode with the younger actors, like the younger main actors, because I believe the next time jump is going to be one of the substantial time jumps. This series, if you're like, well, what the fuck, dude? This whole first chunk of the season, pretty much this whole season, is basically prologue. Like, there's an entire cast of characters that hasn't even really been introduced yet because they haven't either been born yet or grown up yet. So the time jump that's going to happen after tonight's episode is probably, my guess, will probably be about a decade. And there's probably going to be at least one more after that. But they need to do a big time jump because they have to give a chance for some of these characters to get older. They do kind of tie together. So maybe it would make sense to talk about my experiences first and then do the cult of confidence after the fact. That might be the best way to do things. All right, so here's what my week looks like. It's not hella busy, but like I said, I'm still wrapping up a really big freelance project, and so that's going to be a big chunk of this week. Time to roast Tony Robbins again. Yeah, it's that book. Yes, that's the one I'm working on. It is a book. All right. Well, I'm going to get going. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Let me know in the comments below. Just let me know how you're doing. Let me know what your day's been like, what your week's been like, what's coming up this week. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with me. Let me talk a little bit about my dad and other things. I appreciate you all. Big hugs to everybody. Until next time, friends. Peace.